decrease on a couple of these, but increase on the operating supplies and the supply room maintenance. And that's a total hit of $4,250 on this. And what happened?
Crystal did something.
It shows here 7,000 increase, but there's a decrease in there of 3,250 that I didn't notate. So
You're just moving money around
yeah, pretty much. These last two, the gas and the city public service center, just kind of moving it around for the most part.
and an additional 4,250.
Correct. That's correct. And that's only because rates went up on some of the stuff, the supply room maintenance, UniFirst. You know, that's what we tag UniFirst to. Some of their delivery stuff that they do on a weekly basis. And that's about it. Y'all have any questions? I mean, just a little reminder on page, I gotta throw in my,
Did good.
on page, if y'all, page 5 through 6, there's some noteworthy facts and fun facts if you wanna, that pertains to the city of Pearsall. This is just for some, on page 6, gives you an idea of kind of where we at on some of these departments, including the gas and the wastewater. We went over the streets last week, so the rest of them are in there in case you want something to read.
Can you give him that? I'm not sure you gave him that to him. He didn't get.
You didn't get one?
He didn't get.
No.
You got one last week? We go.
Oh, okay.
I asked you earlier, you didn't say nothing.
All right, you got it back.
Yeah, that's the master copy of it.
Now I feel like an idiot.
Man, I didn't know, man, I should have said something.
I'm watching it over there. No big deal.
You have
Yeah.
Well, that was
Got
it.
photographic
I mean,
memory.
Not a lot to go over, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. We got some notable changes. And some of them are big, some of them are small, so.
We thank you for the work, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
I would like to
Crystal, the presentation, or do you want to put it on the, yeah, just put that. All right.
Your slides
No,
show that
I
I
got-
have like 30 slides.
31. No. Rule of 8. And one late slide is too much. So, Mayor, Pro Tem Council, this stuff we're going to discuss tonight again, and I would like some input from the council tonight on this because it is, to me, particularly on the ARP money. I'll give you an update on that in just a minute. But on the hotel tax, I would also like some input as far as, you know, what the council anticipates this year. These are dollars I know that y'all as a council knows we collect from the hotels. And whatever it is we do, you know, I'm open to suggestion. But anyway, if anybody's interested in looking up more research, having some idea of where we get our criteria and our rules for how we use this money, it's under Chapter 351 of the tax code. So if you click on that, if you have that sent to you, you should be able to click that link and should be able to see all the uses and what we can use the hotel tax money for. Okay, under your budget, under line item 342, the dollars, I believe we have $100,000 budgeted, and those $100,000 have been to fund the Hispanic Heritage Festival and the Clay Busters are the two big events that we fund. The city funds out of that particular line item. Under the building maintenance fund, if you look at it, that was a significant increase. And as you can see, that increase actually puts us over budget. So if, you know, whatever the dollar amount the council approves, if you approve any of this, we'll go into our reserves. We'll pull from reserves to do some of this work. So what I'm asking the council tonight is again, I think that's budgeted at $200,000. And speaking to Bobby can help us with the bylaws for this new Chamber of Commerce. We can get that going. And in the months to come, what I would ask the council is to start thinking of potential board members and see how we can work with the business community to start establishing the Chamber of Commerce here. Now, the other question that's gonna come up, and what I'm suggesting to the council this year is to go ahead and get a building ready for wherever it is that we're gonna have this Chamber of Commerce, whether it be at the old municipal court or at this tourism building. Again, I know it sounds like a lot of money, it's $200,000. Keep in mind that we didn't do the light project this year, so that saved us a good chunk of our reserves. So we still have that money that we didn't utilize. And what we're looking for here, again, depending on what building we decide to improve, we want to make some improvements, first and foremost, to the Civic Center. The outdoor restrooms are in dire need of repair. Personally, I don't know as far as the design or construction at the time, but if you go to those restrooms back there, they're not in good shape. We do have a quote on that, on those repairs, and it's pretty expensive. We have a couple of quotes, actually, I think. We do want to look at also some signage and updated the access control and security at both facilities, meaning at the Civic Center and at whatever building, the Chamber of Commerce / tourism building. We also may need to make some ADA improvements. Again, as I mentioned, the access control, put that in there twice. The signage, and again, this just depends on where the council feels that they want the Chamber of Commerce to be. If you decide that you want to move from where the tourism building was to put them at the old municipal court, I'd ask that we move that sign that's there in front of the building there at the tourism building. Again, this is a time for discussion, in my opinion, so I don't have an opinion either way. And then the other thing, and I have not checked with Bobby on this, but the other item I think we talked about was making improvements to the restrooms at Polo Patino Park. I want to verify the usage to make sure that we can use the dollars for the restrooms, but I would say we could.
Yeah,
But
it's
again,
parked.
but I'm not the attorney. So anyway,
I think it's part of that deal that was introduced, the legislation.
Okay.
That's what I read.
That's what I read.
By the city of Pearsall.
Yes, sir.
2018, 2010. So I think we can handle them.
Mayor Pro Tem, I have a comment on the Chamber of Commerce, Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, I got a lot of calls, and I can tell you the amount of calls I got. I got 13 calls from 13 different individuals in town, most of them business people. You know, they did read, I don't know if it was in the paper, or they did see our meeting online, that we had allocated $200,000 for a Chamber of Commerce. That's crazy. We as a council, that number's crazy. That's crazy. That tourist building was the original Chamber of Commerce. That building did have a little bit of upgrades back, expensive upgrades, a few years back. I really think that if we really gotta look at that number, the Chamber of Commerce. I think if we're starting the Chamber of Commerce, we don't start it off all bougie, and we start getting the board together, put them back where they were. Not to move signs or anything, because that's gonna cost money. Get the board up and running, and focus on the Polo Patino bathrooms.
Okay.
That's $1 million park. And that $1 million, it costs, of course, with insurance money and all, that's $1 million park with $10 bathrooms. We gotta fix those Polo Patino at ADA standards. I was there the other day for that festival that the Sacrificio threw. There's people couldn't fit in there, and it was just really, really bad and embarrassing on our part. And I've also gone to the Civic Center. Nothing done to that, and that's one of the buildings that both the park and the Civic Center will generate money as they use it. That money we generate is to put the money back into those facilities that our community uses. But I really want us to look into that $200,000 that it's allocated. We need to cut that down. Even though we're not using it, people are questioning it.
Well, even if we don't cut it down, I think the building that's over here already is in existence, so we don't have to do a lot to it necessarily. I think hospital and restrooms, both places, probably would be the better return for our buck, because that's, as we agreement, I think this building will suffice for the, and I hate to see our library be congested, with another entity out there. Well,
I agree.
Good enough. No, that sounds good. To me, and again, keep in mind that again, maybe the misinterpretation that it's just gonna be used for that. I mean, you can see all of the improvements. It's not just the Chamber of Commerce. We're talking restrooms at the Civic Center.
Yeah, maybe we'll just be a little clearer because everybody saw that and they were just like, wow, that's a lot.
The quote alone for the restrooms, there at the Civic Center was $16,000.
16 or 60?
$16,000. We have quotes for access control for both facilities, cameras. We don't have, take the shit, we don't have any cameras over there at the current Civic Center. So there's not a lot of security. I'll leave it at that. And so with that, again, there are some things that, but yeah, you're right. There's not. I don't have any quotes for the restrooms. I have none at the park.
I think we did have some.
I'm not sure.
We did have a meeting on it, and that's when we were doing the naming of this building. It was probably one of those meetings, because we were gonna add, we were gonna move money from the general fund to do it because we were running out of monies from the park.
So those are again the ideas, and so the idea to me, unless the council disagrees, we still wanna. I recommend that we move forward with at least the actual creation of a new Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So we'll be doing both at the same time if this fiscal year is working on the bylaws and getting board members, and I would ask the council to help with reaching out to the business community to see what members they may want on this board, and then maybe the selection of a manager, chamber, whatever, director for that. But that's what I have for the hotel occupancy tax. And, all right, is there any questions on any of this one in
I
particular?
have one question. Last year, around this time, or the year before, maybe, I asked that the business, not business, but nonprofits that were coming to us to ask for money, that they submit their request by budget time if
Okay.
possible, so that we
Oh,
can know what to budget.
Mhm.
That way we're locked in into that, and that's it.
Okay.
I know
We
that's
can-
done in other places, so I don't know if anybody's reached out to you.
No, I think the only folks that I know of that reached is Clay, and they do a pretty good job of getting us the information, Clay Busters, and then this other being the Pioneer Jail Museum, forgot about.
They're the two that usually request it because of.
Do you remember the dollar amount that the Clay Busters request? I don't remember off the top of my head.
It was 5,400, I think.
Yes, it's not a lot.
It was for the place,
Um,
I think the Pioneers are all the same.
the disc.
So you have a budget there of $100,000, even if, on that end, there's enough budgeted to hope to have some good events. So, if y'all, those are the only ones, but we can get that information from them prior to, if that, I'm sure we can get that.
And what is in that account right now?
Right now, on the hotel, the hotel, do you have a fund balance on that, son? Oh,
It's a little over 350,000. 354.
And we're gonna be using 100, about 100 out of that.
Again, if to reduce the dollar amount down, I'm open to suggestions. I don't have estimates on some of this stuff. I don't know the dollar amount for the restrooms at this point. I don't know how much, if we want to see new restrooms, if we want to see just repairs of the existing, knock them down. I don't know what the discussions have been. So we're, from my end, I really don't have that dollar amount right now. So I wouldn't know. I would think that would probably be I would think a bigger expense, but other than that, I don't see, I don't know.
I would think maybe council would want to cut back from 100 to about 80 on that first line item,
Okay.
and that gives us a little wiggle room for.
Are you talking 342?
Right.
Okay, then on the, we
We've already made
budget
it
the
set.
75, and then,
That's probably.
And
okay.
the other one's about 5.
So you want to cut down to 80,000? if the other two events, then we have,
the Playbusters to be a little bit more entertainment for them?
Well, I'm just saying, if we can, no one exhausts that fund completely.
Claybusters have a lot of sponsors. So if we were to tell them now, I think they would be able to utilize their other sponsors. I mean, pretty much their whole thing is sponsored out.
Well, it's not like we're gonna cut them out, it's just those that are like.
Just give them like a set amount now, so they understand this is what we're budgeted for y'all, and this is what we approve, and give them enough time to, if they need more, they go look somewhere else.
I can do this, I can have them submit their request this year, bring it to the council, and
Before
maybe
budget or
have,
something.
maybe have them come and talk to the council to see if, you know, you want to increase or decrease that dollar amount.
I'm just thinking every year we shell out money for the overnight events, and that's the intent of it, of course, but we're also, we're getting down to where our fund balance there is kind of getting low as well.
Mhm.
And I think if we were to ask the Claybusters where these people are staying, majority of them, because most of them are staying at the ranches, their cottages out there.
They do provide.
I actually think they do an exceptional job.
Right, they do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a really good job of reporting after.
My concern, if we lower it down from 100,000 to 80,000, whatever, and then we create the Chamber of Commerce, you know, and then they propose something, you know, other events other than what those two events that we're just talking about, you know, we're gonna over budget ourselves already, you know, under budget ourselves actually, you know, because, I mean, that's pretty much what the Chamber of Commerce should be doing, is reaching out and trying to get other exposure for ourselves and create, you know, something like this. So, I mean, I would hate to lower down our budget for that line item if we're gonna create that. And I'm all for it, you know, creating the Chamber of Commerce and moving forward right now.
Well, you know, I mean, we can do this stuff, I just like to see the restrooms get done.
It's a easy. I'm gonna remove everything else and just put the restrooms. No.
Have you seen the restroom that Paul put in?
I've been in this.
Okay, have you been inside the women's restroom?
I don't make a point to make going.
No, but you should go in there so you can see how little it is.
I don't see where, on the Paul Patino's restroom, I think it's cinder block, and it's pretty hard to adjust to, you know, make do with that.
You can't get a wheelchair in there.
What we
No,
can do
you know,
is we can,
We
there's
have to
some,
redo them all. I would
there's
think.
some restrooms that they're not portable restrooms. They're basically come in and basically constructed restrooms that are there, and you just put them on top of the current slab or whatever's there. And we can look at that or a complete redo. I would hate to do a complete redo because, in my opinion, it requires
Money.
it requires an architect and money, and I don't know that we wanna
Yeah.
True.
do that.
Well, however we can get it done so we accommodate.
Okay, we'll figure it out. The last one here, and I think is good news, and just to give a quick update, we are to a point where we at least from my end, I believe we're gonna receive the first portion of this, of the 1.3 million, sometime before the end of the fiscal year. State of Texas is moving, the council, the governor, I think, if he hasn't, he will be requesting the dollars from the federal government. I think the letter that I read, I think it referenced something August the 2nd, that the request will be made on or before August the 2nd. And they have 30 days then from that point to disperse that to what they call non-entitlement cities, which non-entitlement cities are cities that are 50,000 people or smaller.
Like us.
So, like us, that applies to us. So we're anticipated to receive the $2.6 million, one being around, hopefully before the end of the fiscal year, this fiscal year, and the next go around would be sometime around the same time next fiscal year. So what you have in your packet, and what I'm, again, one of the things we need to discuss tonight, I'd like to hear from the council, is we have approximately $657,000 earmarked for professional services. The other engineering services, the other $657,000 is earmarked for revenue loss. Now, if the council would like to see those dollars, and I think I gave the council a presentation when this first came out back in late June, of what the uses are. I'm going to go to a couple of trainings, a couple of little sessions to make sure that we know how these dollars can be spent. But basically, the bottom line is infrastructure, revenue loss. There's 4 criteria, but then there's detail within that I want to make sure that I'm not doing something that we're not supposed to be doing with these revenues. So there is